So what you're looking at right here is a map of the state of Washington, and Seattle, where the Space Needle is located. It's somewhere in here, the Space Needle, close to the water. I'll get back to why I'm showing that map in a moment, but first let me explain to you that Elvis had an identical twin that died at birth, and this is why he needed Trump to fulfill this monstrous charade that's about to take place, okay? You're going to have twin events, and that's why he needed his devil twin, Trump. So Trump's going to get his head wound on August 4th, which is Obama's birthday. Trump gets the head wound most likely in Ohio. He survives that head wound. And the other event is going to be Elvis. Somehow his name, the number of his name or his image becomes a part of this spectacular event that's going to happen on June 11th in Seattle. Okay, this is the twin events. And by the way, the Seattle event is also a head wound. So you're going to have twin head wounds too. And what do I mean by that? So here's a different color coordinated map, whatever. Don't pay attention to whatever they're saying. I don't know why they're calling it, I guess they have names for each part of Washington state. And remember, Elvis was known as the king, and Seattle is in King County. I mean, I know it says King Country here, but Seattle is in King County. And the reason I'm showing you this is because this is what I mean by it's going to be a head wound. You see this right here? It looks like a head. You see? Right there. So this whole part can be taken out, with whatever this spectacular event's going to be. Who knows? It could be a volcano eruption. Here's another image. See, if you were just to use this, this could be the chin, the hair way up here, the head, you see? Like the neck could be right here a little bit. I don't know. But it looks like a head. And here's Seattle right here. So all of this could be taken out, you see? Chopped off. Chopped off. Get it? And what does this head look like? If you look at the hair and everything, what does this head look like? It looks like Elvis. You see what I'm saying? You see the hair? It looks just like what I just showed you. You see what I'm saying? Just like this. I told you they're completely mocking us. Don't you see it? Look at this. This is Donald Trump's side profile. And Trump, he lives in the state of Florida. Look, the state of Florida looks like Trump's hair. If you were to put this on top of this part of his head, it would look just like his head, you see? I mean, his hair. And also, it looks like a gun. So it looks like Trump's head, his hair, and a gun. And he's going to get a head wound. But see, he's not going to get a head wound in Florida. He's going to get it in Ohio, his head wound. Like I said, it's twin head wound events. And remember, I'm telling you that there's going to be a spectacular event in Seattle, and this part of the head is probably going to get chopped off and sink into the ocean or something. I mean, into the Elliott Bay over here, into the Puget Sound, whatever, into the ocean. And do you remember back in 2020 when all those BLM riots were going on? In Seattle, they were having these riots, right? And it was called the Chop Zone. You see how crazy that is? What I'm trying to explain to you here? This is Seattle. And then later on, it became the Chaz Zone. Okay? It's the CC, the 33CC, get it? And CHOP, what it stands for is Capitol Hill Organized Protest, which later became Chaz, Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. But the point I'm trying to make is it was originally called CHOP. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to chop this part off. And remember the story that they taught every single kid in school, that, especially when, when I was going to elementary school, is that George Washington chopped down a cherry tree. You see? What I'm trying to show you is it's all about the chop. And during that chop zone, you had all this Black Lives Matter stuff happening. And you remember I told you the word lives, which also can be lives, lives is an anagram for Elvis. Just like the word Levi's. And everyone wore Levi's because Elvis is going to be the mark, I'm telling you. Somehow Elvis becomes his image, the number of his name, or his name, I don't know. But look, remember, Seattle's in King County. Elvis was known as the King, you see? Elvis lives is Elvis King. And remember when I showed you this, that this is Trump Tower right here. This is the entrance. And they painted Elvis right in front of there. You see? The word lives. You get what I'm saying? Right in front of Trump. Because I told you they're the devil twins. And right around June 11th, you had this headline, Trump threatens to take back Seattle. You see that? They were actually, talking about Trump threatening Seattle on June 11th. And they were calling it the Summer of Love. And I told you Elvis's mother's name was Love, Gladys Love. And I told you everything started in Seattle. The first case of the C-19, the corona, and corona means crown, corona 19 started in Seattle, the very first one. And the first death was in Washington State. And the first outbreak was in Kirkland, Washington, And the first person to take the clinical trials for the injection was this person right here. The one I was just showing you taking the injection. And look, she's from Seattle, you see? Anyway, back to the reason I'm doing this video, because of this chop zone thing. I'm trying to show you all the connections to the chop. And if you put chop into my gematria calculator, look what it equals. Look at this. Washington's the 42nd state. Elvis died at the age of 42. And you're going to see something that looks very similar to these numbers. Watch this. So this is what chop equals. Now look what twin equals. It's the exact same numbers, but let me show you what's different here. Okay, the 42, 24, 66 was over here. And back in the second row, you had 66, 12, 78. It's the exact same numbers, but opposite right here. And turned the other way. Look, see? 66, 12, 78. This is 66, 21, 87. So it's basically the same. That's why they were calling it chop. Plus, all the other reasons what I'm giving you about chopping the head off. And here's something interesting. And if you think I'm, stretching it by saying this, watch this. You tell me in the comment section. Does this guy look familiar? You know who he is? His name is Joaquin Guzman. And you know who Joaquin Guzman is? They called him El Chapo. Even though it's not spelled chop, it's still pronounced El Chapo. Or you could pronounce it El Chapo. But it's still, when people say it quick, it sounds like El Chapo. And the reason I'm bringing this up, okay, because a few things here. Okay, I told you the man is the code, the man and son for their, unbelievable stories. Of course, Joaquin, I'll get to that in a moment. But it's got the EL, and I told you EL means God in Hebrew, and L is the first two letters of Elvis. And Seattle even has an LE in it. Okay? El Chapo. And interestingly enough, even his wife had the name of almost like the Corona with the EL. Corona means crown, EL means God, you see? And I told you, Elvis is the king. He's looking for his crown. And Seattle's in King County. But look, the reason I'm bringing this guy up, so this El Chapo, he has broken out of prison twice. Let's see when is the last time he got caught and then went back to jail when they caught him. Oh, before I show you when they last arrested him for the last time, remember his first name was Joaquin Guzman. Look, and why am I bringing that up? Because I told you Elvis is the Phoenix Rising, and Joaquin's first name, this guy right here, Joaquin Phoenix, his first name was Joaquin, right? And remember, he had a brother named River, and River is water, and Elvis equals water, like I told you. He's the beast out of the sea, Elvis. He's the Phoenix Rising. And River Phoenix, they say was sacrificed, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, El Chapo's real name is Joaquin. And interestingly, they're saying he's 168 centimeters. Elvis died on 8/16. But anyway, he's got the EL in his name, like I said. And Joaquin, the name Joaquin is very important because, look, it equals 87. And why is that important, the 87? Because Elvis turned 87 this year. I told you it's the most important birthday of Elvis. And look, Joaquin Guzman was born on 4/4. And it's been 44 years since Elvis died, like I told you. It's going on the 45th, but it's 44 right now. And also remember, MLK was killed on 4/4. Oh, but look at this. I'll show you that in a minute. Elvis, from Elvis's birthday, January 8th, to 4/4 is 87 days. You see? And look, it's 2 months, 28 days. 87 days is 2 months, 28 days. And Elvis died on the 228th day of the year, 8/16. Okay, the whole point I'm trying to make is I just told you that Elvis turned 87, you see, and Joaquin equaled 87. And there's 87 days in between their birthdays of Joaquin Guzman, El Chapo, whatever the hell. And I showed this already. And look at this. If you put Chapo instead of El Chapo equals almost the exact same as the word Lucifer. There's only one number off. You see? It's the 25 instead of 43. Everything would have been the same. Anyway, what else? Oh. So remember, I was just showing you that Guzman was born on 4/4. And Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And who lived in Memphis, Tennessee? Elvis. And that's where Elvis died also. The king had Martin Luther King whacked. You understand? And Seattle, is in King County, and now it's named after MLK, King County. It was named after a different king, but now they named it after him. And why is that significant? Because Elvis lived in Memphis, Tennessee when the king was killed, Martin Luther King. Do you understand? And that's the same thing that's going to happen to King County in Seattle. All right, do you get it? What I'm trying to explain here. And like I said, Elvis died and lived in Memphis, Tennessee. At the age of 42, he died, and Washington is the 42nd state. And I told you Elvis was known as the king. Seattle is the county seat of King County. They call it the seat of King County, you see. And MLK, like I said, it's now named after King County, Seattle. But it wasn't named after him before. It started in 2005. You see, it says it was renamed. That was the date. And like I said, Elvis was known as the king. And what was El Chapo? He was a kingpin. A drug kingpin, get it? A drug lord. Because Elvis is, like I said, Elvis is their god. I'm trying to explain this to you. All right. And you know, Elvis, he was born on January 8th, like I said. And you know, when El Chapo was the final time he got arrested, look at this. That was the final time he was arrested. When he was finally captured, and then they put him in jail for good. January 8th, 2016. Can you believe this? Because if you've been watching my videos, you know how important the 216 is. All right? I'm not going to get into it here. But January 8th, that's Elvis's birthday, the day El Chapo, whatever the hell you want to call him, was captured. And even Elvis Aaron Presley, how they spell it on his gravestone, equals 216, you see? Anyway, like I said, oh, and by the way, Trump's head wound day is a 216th day of the year, you see? Everything connects, I told you. Anyway, so if you think I was stretching it in this video, let me know. All right? Comment and let me know what you thought, because I might erase the video if you think I was stretching it here. Anyway, end of video.